met my husband the first day that I moved to Nashville in 1964.
First day away from home?
My daddy didn't want me to leave home for that very reason.
Country music has always given us icons, women whose voices defined resilience and triumph. But behind the spotlight, many legends live tangled lives filled with secrets, scandals, and forbidden passions. Some of the most enduring whispers didn't focus on their songs, but on their hidden addictions, not to alcohol or fame, but to love itself. Prepare to be shocked as we unveil 13 country music divas who were secret love addicts. From secret obsessions to uncontrollable desires, this is the side of country music you were never supposed to hear. Number 13, Tanya Tucker.
She's 41 and her dad is still cold.
Tanya Tucker has long been remembered as country music's wild child, a prodigy whose voice broke through at just 13 years old with Delta Dawn. But as much as her music grabbed headlines, so did her chaotic personal life. Whispers swirled across Nashville that Tanya was not just fond of love, she was addicted to it. She was rarely without a man at her side, and often those relationships overlapped, creating a storm of scandal that kept gossip writers busy for decades. Her most infamous affair was with Glenn Campbell, who was 22 years older than her. Their relationship was passionate, public, and often destructive. Friends and insiders described nights of wild partying, fights, and reconciliations that played out like a soap opera in real time. But Glenn was only one of many. Tanya's list of high-profile romances spanned musicians, producers, and even Hollywood stars. Nashville insiders whispered that Tanya simply could not live without the thrill of love and the chaos it brought. Her peers respected her undeniable talent, but many whispered about her reckless choices. Some saw her as a tragic figure, too consumed by passion to ever find stability. Among the public, her reputation was equal parts fascination and condemnation. Fans devoured every detail, turning her private life into constant tabloid fodder. Yet the scandals never fully eclipsed her career. If anything, they fueled the fiery legend of Tanya Tucker, a woman whose addiction to love was as unforgettable as her voice. Despite all the gossip, Tanya remains a survivor, still performing and proving her resilience decades later. Up next, we have Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton is one of the most cherished figures in American music history. Known for her unmatched songwriting and larger-than-life persona, Dolly's reputation has often been one of wit, warmth, and brilliance. Yet even Dolly couldn't escape the rumors that painted her as a love addict. For decades, Nashville insiders whispered that Dolly had more than a few secret relationships that fed not only her inspiration but also her insatiable desire for romance. Her long partnership with Porter Wagoner sparked endless gossip. Their chemistry on stage was undeniable, and many insisted that their relationship was far from professional, though Dolly always maintained that they had a complex bond rather than a straightforward affair. The rumors persisted. Whispers claimed that Dolly's deep need for affection led her into tangled affairs with other powerful men in the business, while she kept her marriage to Carl Dean fiercely private. Some in Nashville cruelly suggested it was a cover for her other passions. Dolly herself admitted in interviews to what she called emotional affairs, relationships that skirted the edge of romance, but fed her hunger for attention and intimacy. Her honesty only deepened the speculation as fans wondered how many emotional bonds crossed into the physical. Among peers, Dolly's reputation was divided, admired as a genius, but whispered about as a woman who was never truly satisfied in love. Despite the rumors, Dolly's legacy is untouchable. If anything, her rumored love addiction only added fuel to the passion that poured out in her music. Songs like Jolene and I Will Always Love You spoke to the pain and power of desire, cementing her place as a legend who turned every whispered scandal into timeless art. Following that, we have Tammy Wynette. Tammy Wynette, the first lady of country music, lived a life that mirrored the heartbreak in her songs. Behind the haunting voice that sang Divorce and Stand By Your Man was a woman entangled in countless affairs and complicated romances. Insiders said Tammy was addicted to the highs and lows of love, unable to live without the chaos of passion. Her most famous relationship, of course, was with George Jones. Their volatile marriage was both a love story and a cautionary tale, filled with fights, reconciliations, and betrayals. But behind that public drama, Tammy was rumored to have indulged in multiple affairs with producers, managers, and fellow musicians. Some said she used love as both a weapon and a lifeline, clinging to men who could provide stability while simultaneously chasing the thrill of forbidden passion. Peers often saw her as both tragic and reckless, a woman too consumed by her emotional needs to ever find true peace. Fans were divided. Many sympathized with her struggles, while others whispered about her inability to stay faithful or satisfied. To some, Tammy's romantic entanglements overshadowed her artistry. To others, they explained the raw authenticity in her songs. What is undeniable is that Tammy Wynette's addiction to love shaped her career as much as her voice did. Each affair left a scar, and each scar found its way into her music. Though the scandals complicated her reputation, they also gave her an edge of truth that no one could fake. In the end, Tammy remains one of the most unforgettable voices in country music history. Now let's turn to Loretta Lynn. Loretta Lynn was hailed as the coal miner's daughter, a voice for working-class women who fought to be heard in a male-dominated world. But even Loretta, with her image of small-town values and marital devotion, faced whispers of secret passions. Nashville insiders often speculated that Loretta's fiery spirit extended beyond the microphone, that she had her own hidden romances that fed her insatiable need for love. Her marriage to Oliver Doolittle Lynn was notoriously turbulent. He was unfaithful, controlling, and at times abusive, but rumors suggested Loretta herself sought comfort in the arms of others, using affairs as both rebellion and survival. Insiders whispered that Loretta was not just enduring her husband's betrayals, she was answering them with her own. These rumored trysts, though never publicly confirmed, painted her as a woman addicted to both love and the validation it brought. Fans struggled with the contradictions. How could the woman who sang "Don't Come Home, a Drinkin' with Lovin' on Your Mind" also be the subject of whispers about secret lovers? But those contradictions only deepened her appeal. Peers respected her talent, but knew her reputation carried a cloud of gossip that followed her throughout her career. Loretta's music reflected her fiery heart, and perhaps those rumored affairs were part of what fueled her raw, unapologetic voice. Her legacy remains untarnished, even as the whispers about her alleged love addiction linger in the background. She remains a symbol of resilience, proving that even scandal could not dim her brilliance. Moving along, Patsy Cline.
I ask you what chance.
Patsy Cline's voice was one of the most powerful in country music history, but her private life was often the subject of just as much conversation. Known for her stormy marriage to Charlie Dick, Patsy was said to be a woman who couldn't resist the pull of romance. Insiders whispered that Patsy's appetite for love bordered on addiction, her fiery nature constantly pulling her into affairs and passionate encounters that scandalized Nashville. Friends and colleagues recalled how Patsy carried herself, with a confidence that drew men in effortlessly. Rumors swirled about multiple affairs with married musicians and producers, whispered secrets that made her both admired and resented. Her need for love, they said, was insatiable. She sought it out constantly, sometimes recklessly, often ignoring the risks it posed to her reputation. These stories didn't always stay hidden. Her peers saw her as both fearless and flawed, a woman who loved with the same intensity she sang with. Among fans, the rumors painted her as dangerous but captivating, someone who lived her songs as much as she performed them. Her reputation was complicated, but that very complication made her unforgettable. After her tragic death at just 30 years old, those whispers of love addiction only added to her mystique. Patsy Cline remains a legend, her voice immortal, her personal life forever woven into tales of passion that refuse to be silenced. Coming up next is Barbara Mandrell. Barbara Mandrell projected a wholesome, family-friendly image, polished to perfection for both television and stage. Yet behind that carefully crafted persona were rumors that Barbara's private life was far more complicated. Nashville insiders claimed that Barbara had an insatiable appetite for love and intimacy, one that sometimes clashed with her squeaky clean image. Stories swirled of Barbara maintaining multiple relationships at once, slipping between roles of devoted wife and secret romantic. Some claimed she thrived on the adrenaline of forbidden affairs, that the woman who smiled so brightly on TV was secretly addicted to the chaos of passion. Insiders whispered that her clean image was a mask, carefully maintained, even as her personal life left trails of gossip. Peers admired her professionalism, but often whispered about her alleged double life. Fans, meanwhile, struggled to reconcile the rumors with the image of the all-American woman they adored. Some dismissed the stories as jealous fabrications, while others believed they explained how she stayed relevant in a cutthroat industry. Regardless of the gossip, Barbara Mandrell's talent and charm kept her at the top of her game for years. Even if the whispers of love addiction were true, they only added to the aura of a woman who seemed too perfect to be untouched by scandal. Today, she is remembered as one of country's brightest stars, her legacy shining through both rumor and reality. Continuing on, Reba McEntire. Reba McEntire built an empire in country music, dominating charts, tours, and even television. Her fiery hair and powerhouse voice made her unforgettable, but behind her unstoppable career were whispers of a woman who couldn't get enough of love and attention. Rumors claimed that Reba was entangled in multiple secret romances, her insatiable appetite for passion fueling her drive. Her marriage to Narvel Blackstock was long and complicated, but even during that union, Nashville gossips whispered of Reba's wandering heart. Insiders suggested that her need for love was as relentless as her ambition, and that she frequently sought validation in affairs that never reached the public eye. Some claimed she balanced professional partnerships with secret romances, using intimacy as much as strategy to stay on top of a cutthroat industry. Peers respected her, but also questioned how much of her rise was tied to whispers of scandal. Fans adored her music, but behind closed doors, Nashville couldn't stop speculating about Reba's alleged love addiction. To some, it tarnished her reputation. To others, it simply made her human. Reba McEntire remains one of the most respected figures in country music, but the rumors remind us that even legends carry secrets. Her music and resilience outlast the whispers, making her a true icon. Next on the list is June Carter Cash. June Carter Cash is often remembered as the loyal partner who stood by Johnny Cash during his darkest battles. But before she became the matriarch of the Carter Cash dynasty, June was rumored to have her own entanglements that spoke to a powerful appetite for love. Insiders claimed June had been romantically involved with multiple men in Nashville, her charm and charisma drawing people in long before Johnny entered her life. Her marriage to Carl Smith ended in divorce amid rumors of affairs and betrayals, and when she connected with Johnny, scandal followed. Their relationship began while he was still married, sparking whispers that June had once again indulged her hunger for forbidden love. To some, this marked her as a woman addicted to the thrill of passion, unable to resist romance no matter the cost. Peers admired her artistry, but often speculated about her complicated reputation. Fans, meanwhile, saw her as both a savior and a sinner. The woman who rescued Johnny, yet may have destroyed his first marriage. The rumors of June's love addiction lingered even as she grew into the role of Johnny's steadfast partner. Her story is proof that even country's most beloved love story carried shadows. June Carter Cash remains a legend, her name etched in history as both a passionate woman and an enduring artist. Another name you need to hear, Crystal Gayle. Crystal Gayle's flowing hair and smooth voice gave her an image of elegance and calm. But behind that serene exterior, rumors swirled of a woman who craved love endlessly. Nashville insiders claimed Crystal's appetite for romance was insatiable, her private life filled with affairs and entanglements that clashed with her angelic public persona. Some whispered that Crystal's relationships overlapped, that she was drawn into affairs with producers and musicians who adored her beauty as much as her voice. Her need for love was described as constant, unrelenting. a hunger that could never be satisfied. Even as the sister of Loretta Lynn, she carved her own path, but insiders insisted that her career was as much shaped by her romantic life as by her artistry. Peers saw her as magnetic but restless, while fans were left to wonder how much truth hid behind the whispers. For some, the gossip tarnished her reputation. For others, it only made her more fascinating. The contrast between her serene image and the rumors of passionate affairs made her an enigma in the world of country music. Crystal Gayle remains a beloved artist whose music transcends scandal. Even if the whispers of love addiction followed her, they could never overshadow her grace and timeless voice. Now let's turn to Dottie West.
It's a get-loose situation.
Dottie West lived a life of soaring highs and devastating lows, and much of it played out under the watchful eye of Nashville's rumor mill. Known for her vulnerability and charm, Dottie was said to be addicted to love, moving from one romance to another with reckless passion. Her collaborations with Kenny Rogers fueled constant gossip. Fans adored their chemistry, but insiders whispered that their relationship went far beyond the studio. Some even claimed Dottie thrived on multiple affairs, juggling lovers in a way that scandalized her peers. To many, she was a woman who couldn't live without being in love. Her constant entanglements, proof of an insatiable need for intimacy. The rumors went further. Stories of late-night rendezvous, overlapping relationships, and desperate attempts to fill emotional voids. Her peers pitied her, suggesting that Dottie's obsession with love left her vulnerable to manipulation by men who took advantage of her. Nashville insiders whispered that her constant need for affection was both her greatest strength as a performer and her greatest weakness as a woman. These stories damaged her reputation, especially as her career faltered in later years. Gossip suggested her personal life had become more notorious than her music. Yet, her undeniable talent kept her relevant, even as her love addiction was whispered about as her tragic flaw. Her life ended far too soon in a car accident, but even in death, the rumors persisted. Dottie West's music, however, remains her most enduring legacy, proof that even a love addict could leave behind timeless art and unforgettable performances. Moving along, Shepard.
Word is a heartache imperfect.
Shepard was one of the earliest female stars to break through in a male-dominated world, and her fiery spirit made her unforgettable. But that same fire also made her the subject of endless rumors about her private life. Nashville insiders often painted her as a love addict, a woman whose fierce independence was matched only by her hunger for romance. She was rumored to have indulged in multiple affairs with influential men in the industry, using her charm and passion to secure her place in the spotlight. The whispers claimed she craved romance constantly, seeking out one relationship after another in a way that fueled gossip and envy. Peers admired her talent, but whispered that her appetite for love made her reckless, unable to resist the thrill of forbidden encounters. To her critics, Jean was proof that ambition and desire could not be separated. Her reputation in Nashville was complicated. For every friend who defended her as bold and misunderstood, there was a rival who whispered about her alleged string of affairs. Fans saw her as unapologetic and brave, while insiders speculated that her tangled personal life created enemies that slowed her career's momentum. The gossip made her a lightning rod, someone whose professional achievements were always shadowed by salacious rumors. Yet despite the whispers, Shepard never stopped fighting for her place in country music. Her strength was undeniable, and she refused to bow to the critics who sought to define her by scandal alone. Her legacy today is one of strength, resilience, and trailblazing courage. Whatever the rumors may say, Shepard remains a pioneer who blazed a trail for generations of women. Coming up next is Lynn Anderson.
I don't know what to do.
Lynn Anderson's Rose Garden made her a global star, but behind the polished performances was a life whispered to be filled with scandalous passions. Nashville insiders painted Lynn as a woman addicted to love, unable to resist the thrill of romance, even when it endangered her reputation. Stories claimed that Lynn was involved in multiple affairs throughout her career, balancing her public image with a private life full of entanglements. Her beauty and charm made her irresistible, and some said she thrived on the constant drama that love brought into her life. The rumors went beyond idle gossip. Insiders spoke of her intense relationships, how she leapt from one romance to another in ways that exhausted even those closest to her. Her peers admired her music, but whispered that her personal life was chaotic, constantly threatening to eclipse her artistry. The tabloids eagerly followed every twist and turn, and for many fans, her love life became inseparable from her songs. The contradictions, sweet ballads on stage, scandalous passions off it, made her both beloved and controversial. Her legacy became one of contradiction, an artist whose soaring career was matched by equally soaring scandals. The whispers followed her throughout her life, adding a layer of intrigue that refused to fade. Yet Lynn Anderson is remembered for her artistry above all else. Her voice, her music, and her indomitable spirit continue to shine, even as the gossip lingers in the background. And finally, Minnie Pearl. Minnie Pearl, with her trademark howdy and comic charm, seemed the last person who would be entangled in scandal. Yet even Minnie, beloved as the heart of the Grand Ole Opry, was whispered about in Nashville's backrooms. Insiders claimed that beneath the hat and humor was a woman with an insatiable desire for love, drawn into affairs that few dared to speak of publicly. Her comedic persona made the gossip all the more shocking. Could the wholesome star who made millions laugh also have lived a double life of passion and secrecy? Rumors suggested Minnie used her charm to maintain powerful connections behind the scenes, securing her place at the Opry through more than just talent. Some insiders whispered that she sought out relationships with men of influence, feeding what they described as a constant craving for intimacy and affection. Colleagues respected her professionalism, but were not blind to the whispers. For every admirer who saw her as pure comedy gold, there was another who believed her longevity was tied to romantic entanglements as much as her wit. Fans, on the other hand, resisted the notion, clinging to the Minnie Pearl they adored, a woman of warmth, laughter, and innocence. The tension between her public image and private rumors only deepened her mystique. Her supposed love addiction was said to mirror her stage presence, larger than life, impossible to ignore, and endlessly captivating. While scandal followed her in hushed tones, it never truly dimmed her glow. In fact, it may have even added layers of intrigue that kept her relevant across generations. Minnie Pearl's legacy remains one of joy and resilience. No matter the rumors, she proved that laughter and love, however complicated, can make a star immortal. Which of these wild love stories shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories from country music's hidden past. And before you go, check out the other videos on your screen. You won't want to miss them.